Yeah, so firstly, thank you for the kind invitation. My name is Opinder Sahota. I'm a consultant physician and professor of ortho geriatric medicine at Nottingham University Hospitals. And I'm here to really share with you both the success of our story, but also share with you the recognition that we recently won the Business Awards in two of the categories, Innovation Product and Best Product Awards. So yeah, thank you.
So could you provide an overview of your career journey that ultimately led to you becoming the consultant physician and professor of ortho-geriatric medicine at Nottingham University
Yeah.
Hospitals and Trust, along with a brief description and history of the N-Ice cream?
Yeah, so no, so thank you. So yeah, so I qualified in 1992, so many years back. I've enjoyed geriatric medicine because it's a field of medicine that I feel allows more holistic care of the patient. So rather than focusing on one particular organ, it allows me to really holistically provide care of the whole person. And I think that's a real strength that we can offer. And particularly also for older people, I feel that it's certainly a neglected patient group, and many of them may not have a voice that they can offer a show. And so really holistically homing in the skills of that general geriatric medicine and that patient group, I felt it's something that where I could really make a big difference. Also, what we're really seeing now is that as people are getting a little bit older, that we're getting good at lots of the sort of the cardiovascular side of things and the stroke side of things, but leaving people with, unfortunately, disability. And with that, unfortunately, many older people end up falling and having falls injuries. And we're now seeing a huge rise in musculoskeletal trauma in older people. And you may or may not be aware, but across major trauma centres, road traffic accidents used to be the biggest presenting group of patients coming into major trauma units. Now we're seeing a greater trend of older people, unfortunately, coming to these major trauma centres. And as you can imagine, when older people fall, they don't just break one thing, they can have multiple injuries. And so the care and the complexity of their injuries is really needs very specialist care. And so certainly the last sort of the 10, 15 years, I've now really specialised in ortho-geriatric care, which is the care of older people with musculoskeletal injuries. We've done lots of work nationally in setting up the national best practice tariff for hip fracture care. And now we're moving across more into major trauma and vertebral fracture care. And what was really interesting and sad to see, though, at the same time, is that you can have the best surgery in the world, but as we all know, if you're eating nothing, it doesn't, the outcome, there's only one outcome. You can have fantastic surgery and great screws, and the screws going great, and our surgeons look at these through the x-rays, but actually, if your patient is eating nothing, then it's a real problem, and the outcomes are very poor. And why don't older people eat things? Well, a combination. We have a large percent of patients who are actually malnourished at presentation. So again, as we get older, a lot of people just go off food, eat less, don't enjoy food as much, and that leads to malnutrition. And then when people come into hospital, unfortunately, that exacerbates the problem, because they then lose interest in their food. A combination of pain, recovering from surgery, the atmosphere is not comfortable. So really very multifactorial. And when we look at the range, we see that there's some patients who eat nothing post-op, some people only eating minimal. And a recent work that we did, we showed that particularly after hip fracture, the median calorific intake was 650 calories. Now, I don't know if you know, but I think women will know this quite well, but for a size 4, that's what you need to be eating every day to try and achieve that. So it's not much. A 2-finger Kit Kat is 200 calories. So that gives you the magnitude of how difficult this is. And so what we saw, and the problem I saw on the wards, was that day in, day out, many of these patients, food would be served, and it's good food. There's always this notion, hospital food's really bad, but, particularly in Nottingham, we did a lot of work with local catering, food menus, and the food is really good. But clearly, if you don't want to eat it, you're not going to eat it, despite that. And so we did some work very early on asking patients, if you would have something that would give you a boost, what would give you a boost? And patients talked about, oh yes, maybe a chocolate bar, or maybe um, a biscuit with lots of calories in, or fish and chips. For some reason, I don't know why, but older people enjoy fish and chips. That seems to be the favorite. But at the top of the list was ice cream. It was really interesting, and maybe the fact that as we get older, that ice cream has that sensation that still, as your taste receptors are affected, has that cooling cold sensation, and that smooth, that allows the palate, and particularly if you've got swallowing chewing difficulties, it may be that it's quite easy to do. So we started off with what we call the Haagen-Dazs project. So we got some charitable funding, we got some freezers, we got some Haagen-Dazs, and patients loved it. It's great. Who doesn't love a Haagen-Dazs ice cream? But the problem with Haagen-Dazs is that although it's really tasteful ice cream, it's just full of sugar, and it's not providing any sort of the particularly protein, which is what you need after age. You need really to have a bit of protein. So the hospital serves these, what we call these nutritional supplement drinks, but patients didn't particularly enjoy them. So we looked at modifying this, and we developed a drink into an ice cream formulation, and actually patients enjoyed this. But we couldn't really, but unfortunately that wasn't available on the market. This is something that we developed in-house. And so we looked around, and there's a few companies out there with some what they call high protein ice cream. Even the high protein, so a standard tub of ice cream has about 3 grams in a small tub of ice cream. And the newer higher proteins companies advertise around about 9 to 10 grams. And what we really wanted, something around the 15, 16 grams in a small tub, because the recommendation that particularly is around 30 to 50 grams. So if you can manage 2 of these little tubs a day, it would help us sort of, really moving forward. But there was nothing on the market. So we thought, okay, why don't we make our own? So we decided then, some very early work with the University of Nottingham, food sciences department, and the students came to me, gave them a little challenge. And the first question was, can you make something of this magnitude? And we did that. But we were slightly clever that we said, not only do we want protein, we want what is the optimum ingredients to help muscle. And we know there's a special type of protein called whey protein, which has inside it what we call leucine, and leucine is one of the amino acids that has been shown to stimulate the muscle the most. So we put in whey protein, we added some extra leucine, so basically neat leucine on top of that. And then also we know that vitamin D has a direct effect on muscle as well, so we put some vitamin D in. And we then created a formulation. The problem then was we wanted to do some further testing, but it was really difficult to do that testing in a university, because it's not a food recognized catering quality. You can't give it to patients. So we thought, actually, and we're using dairy products, so well, why don't we approach a dairy farm? So we started the first version, what we called Dreamy Cow, which was a dairy farm. We approached them. They were quite cynical at first, because dairy farmers said, what, protein in ice cream? What, you don't put protein in ice cream? It's about sugar and fat, and it's supposed to be enjoyed, not for those benefits. But lo and behold, the formulation was really great, came out really well. We did some trial tests on patients. 4 out of 5 patients preferred it. The consumption, patients, the mean calorific intake increased from 600 calories to just under 1,000 calories, which was massive improvement really from that point of view. And then we moved on to another level. We've now moved to a larger manufacturer called Matlock Meadows, and really the Business Awards was a celebration of the collaboration that we've developed with Matlock Meadows now, who are a much bigger dairy farm. And we've now developed 4 flavors, so vanilla, salted caramel, strawberry and mint. And we're now starting the next phase of our work, which is really to try and get this product really to patients. This was never about, I know the Business Awards is really about making, financial profits and sort of trying to advance your business to make money, but really this whole concept that I started out with, it was not really about making money, but it was really about improving patient care. And that's the ultimate thing that we would like to do. So the exciting thing is that the products are very commodity products. I'm not talking about special, high cost products. These are low cost products. And we hope as the scale up starts to increase, the cost will come right down. And clearly that, the cost benefit, for the patient then is going to be great. So thank you. I hope that gives a good summary of where we were, why, and what we've done, and sort of where we are now. So thank you.
Made me laugh that you mentioned about, obviously you can maintain the body as much as you want, but there's no but if there's nothing in there, there's nothing in there, like thingy. It reminds me of taking your car to a garage, and like you get the car tuned up and you get it ready to go on the roads, but if you're not putting any fuel in there, that car ain't going anywhere. So that's always like how to see it. It's
common sense, and it's there, and it's the elephant in the room. It's huge, and yet people just accept it, and that's the frustration really that we have.
No, but I think the work you're doing is phenomenal, to be quite honest with you. And I think that you've gone to students as well, got their input, and then you've even managed to go into 4 great flavors, by the way. Salt caramel is very much up there.
Yeah, we've talked about others because we've also talked about rum and raisin as well. They said a lot of older men like the rum and raisin flavor. So yeah, you can have whatever you want.
What challenges would you say you've overcome as the consultant physician and professor of geriatric medicine at Nottingham University, and what advice would you give to someone who's maybe looking to enter this kind of food industry?
So yeah, in summary, we've got a really good product, and we've identified that there's a real need. We've identified that patients enjoy this. We've identified that it makes a difference, certainly in the small cohort that we've tried. And you think, oh, then that's great, that's easy, it's kind of, the game over. But it's sad to share with you the frustrations and challenges that we've had because of the NHS, is full of bureaucracy and hurdles and just red tape. And it's just so frustrating that something very simple, ice cream, food, we can't just get through the systems, even within our own unit ourselves. So we'd like to feel that Nottingham should lead by unit example, but to share with our own stories that, when you then have to approach the catering department, you then have to approach the procurement department. The first thing procurement will say was, oh, how much does it cost? Who's going to pay for this? Okay. And what they don't look at is, and because none of them are clinical, is what does it cost to the patient? Because they're not bothered about that. They're bothered about, they've got balance sheets, they've got to look at ingoings and outgoings, and does the money equal? Catering, they're not bothered about what happens to the actual patient. It's all about, we need to safely ensure the food arrives in the hospital, is then deposited somewhere, and that's our role. And the system may not be geared up for yes, they have ice cream, as a kind of a dessert for the small, but if you're talking about the volume of these in terms of a supplement type to help, then you need a slightly different infrastructure in terms of the sort of the freezer space and monitoring of that, and who's going to do that, and how you're going to push that there. On the ward level, any MDT member you will meet, physio, nurse, the dietitian, pharmacist, anybody, they all recognise this problem and also it's a brilliant idea. But it's then how do you take that from the farm all the way across onto the patient? And so a lot of what we've done is for this external recognition for companies like, business awards, it was never really about ego things. This is really about A, getting external recognition, but B, and most importantly, raising the awareness. And can we get enough momentum from interviews like this that we media profile and do and change to get people to wake up and say, actually, everybody's got a story of their family member that they've seen it, done it. What we're talking is nothing. It's nothing rocket science. This is just basic care, but it's just the system that we're in. We were told as well that for ice cream, you have to be on the NHS providers list. And so I emailed, I think, 10 different companies out there, to try and be an NHS catering provider, and got zero response, and despite us winning these innovations awards, zero response, because everybody's looking at how much money can we make from this, what's the sort of the profit margins. And so I think the challenge is that the NHS is not really a business, and so that's the big challenge that we have. That companies want to make big money, but often they'll overcharge the NHS. But when the NHS now are looking for cut savings, our own hospitals, they want to make a 71 million saving over the next 12 months. The ICB want to make 140 million saving, over the time. So when somebody talks about particular product, everybody's looking at the front-ended cost, i.e. the cost of buying the product, and not looking at what is the benefit to the patient. But clearly, if patients are eating better, get stronger, and get out of hospital quicker, have less complications, then the cost effectiveness is will be there. So that the kind of way we've tried to work forward with this is not to lose heart, but because at the end of the day, it's the patients that benefit. And the way we've tried to I've tried to keep going is looking for opportunities like yourselves, to sort of raise the word, raise media. But secondly, trying to do further research. So we've just got some funding to look at now the muscle effect. So when we give people the ice cream, standard ice cream versus this ice cream, what happens to the blood amino acid levels? We then want to do some trials looking at muscle strength. So we'll give the ice cream and they'll do some exercise and say, do you get additional benefits? So it's not just about taste, but it's not just about, we know it's good, we want to scientifically prove that it's good and better. And that may help then change sort of the culture that we have, that people that might see, actually, this is a scientific benefit, not just a sort of really taste nice and will help kind of thing, really. And lastly, we've also applied for larger funding from the government to look at, looking at comparing it with other food supplements that they use in the hospital, like the drinks, which are quite expensive, and saying, actually, if you gave an ice cream in an evening, then surely that's better than these very expensive drinks. And again, that's something that we're looking to do. So yeah, lots of hurdles, lots of challenges. I think people come to me saying, you're doing well to keep going, because everywhere we go, it's difficult. But again, the fact that when we see the rewards that we can achieve from the awards, but also the rewards from the patient, I think that sort of helps. In terms of advice to other people, I think this is a great area, and I would really encourage sort of the food science area. I think protein supplementation is becoming very exciting. It's really recognised in the sports field. It's very high level. You see all people, even local people, going to gyms and things. Young kids drinking whey protein drinks and shakes and things. So it's there. You see it, the high athlete market, the athletes training at performance level, diet, nutrition, exercise. Why aren't we using that knowledge in older people with musculoskeletal injuries? Okay. So just to share with you one study which I find fascinating. So fascinating is that there was a study where they took two groups of patients, and one group of patients, they mobilized the leg in a big plaster for a week and measured how much protein you lost because that leg is immobilized. And secondly, they had another group where they laid in a bed for a week and look at how much protein that you lose. And what they found was that at the end of the week, that the leg that had the cast in had lost more protein in that muscle compared to the patient who was lying down in bed. However, overall, the patient lying in bed had lost protein from both legs, arms, overall, and they'd lost just approximately 1.5 kilograms of protein in that 1 week. Okay, and this is the real problem that you have, that when you become immobilized or injured lying in bed, you start losing muscle protein. And that's what you often see when these people go on these sort of camps to lose weight. They think they're losing weight, but they eat nothing for a week. It's all protein, which is why, as you see, 2-3 weeks later, it's all back on again. Okay, that's not how you burn off fat. You don't, by starving, you lose some fat, but protein is broken down. So when somebody's lying in bed, you see their legs become weak, they go thin, the muscles. So that's the importance of this work, is that it's about the protein that's really important with the patient group. So we're seeing now fortification protein. I'm aware of a soup fortification, some oats fortified with protein as well. So that may be the future. But what we need to do is really get the food industry to think about this patient group. But the problem is the food industry is so focused about just making money. Sainsbury's, Tesco's, all the big Morrisons, they're making billions, every year. And I'm thinking, well, actually, let's make slightly less, but let's target a group that can really benefit from our innovation and skills. And this is a real group. And you could extend to that, not just the hospitalized patients, but care home residents, frail older people living at home. These are all, really big areas.
What would you attribute as the main reason for your product's success, would you say?
Yeah, I think that the real success, I mean, we were really, surprised. When we won the Medipex Innovation Award back in 2022, we were surprised because we were pitched against, MRI, angios, and AI and all of this, and we won not just the category, but overall. And I think we probably haven't reflected as much as we should, but I think the real success and why it stands out for various awards is that it's very simple. This is very simple for a big common problem that we see. And, it's about improving patient care, but at the most basic level. Nutrition, hydration is the most basic care that you need to be doing, and something that we all enjoy doing. So I think that's been the real success. And, to me, it was kind of, the obvious when I developed this. But I think now when people look at the work that we've done, and obviously you've heard the story, you're probably reflecting now saying, well, of course, it's really obvious, isn't it, really? Why are we doing this? It doesn't make sense that we should be doing studies on this. And that's the other annoying thing, or, it doesn't make sense that why there should be resistance and why you need trials, because everything you shared with the malnutrition and the enjoyment and patients' preferences, it's just kind of a no-brainer. We should be doing it, and we shouldn't be there, really. So I think that's really been the perhaps the standing out bit, that it's something very simple and it's something very innovative, and we've made it innovative that we've also tried to target that protein, the muscle bit, and not just say make something that tastes nice. Yeah.
Since winning that award, how would you say that has affected yourself and the rest of the team, both internally and externally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always great to get external recognition, really, from peer review like yourselves. You're established, you've got a track record, and you value, and getting that recognition, I think, is a fantastic thing to have, I think, first and foremost. And it gives us the credibility, and I think that's what we're always looking for. People don't want people to think, oh, well, we're just doing this just for a bit of fun, but really doing it to really try and help patient cause. And I think then the real other strength and why we come and we apply for these awards is that it's not about ego, but it's really A, getting external recognition, but B, trying to raise that media profile. And I think that's where you guys can reach out really well. And already we've just had, from some of the media outreach you've done, the National Farming World have contacted us, and they're doing a whole story. I did an interview with them 2 weeks ago. They're going out to the farm. They're going to do a whole thing in their book, in their newsletter as well. So that's what we want. We want to raise that noise, that awareness, get that out there, because like yourself, you didn't hear of this until now, or until you saw the award, and that's what we want to do. We want that noise, and I think winning the award gives us that opportunity through the channels that you have. I'm good at looking after patients. I can provide excellent care, but I'm not good at all the media stuff. I'm not good at, all of this that we do. That's where we need your help and your skills. So yeah, so thank you.
As an award winner, would you recommend Business Awards UK to other businesses?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think the only negative I had is that although we won 2 awards, financially, I had to pay for the awards through our own funds. So it would be nice to have a reduced amount of money for those awards. But again, that's the other thing that, particularly for hospitals, is that trying to find the funding for those awards. It can be challenging, but no, absolutely. I think the whole process is really good. It's very easy to enter. The communication was very good. It's sad not to actually have an award ceremony per se, just getting an email randomly somewhere. A bit sad, but it's nice to actually have that award ceremony. But again, I can imagine doing that, then it just adds costs, and I think that's the other problem, with doing it that way. But maybe in the future having a virtual ceremony would work quite well, because now I think we're all getting used to the virtual world. and you can create some really good forums virtually. We can go to some places in the world with a backdrop which would make it really good, and we can all just get a glass of champagne on the side. And I think the recognition that you do as well, that you recognize the finalists, and also the commendation, and you can win more than one of categories. I think that's a really good achievement too. So yeah, absolutely, and wholly recommend that individuals take this forward. So yeah, again, thank you again for that opportunity, and obviously for the awards that we won.
What is the next big step for yourself, would you say, and ice cream?
Yeah, so a couple of things really. So one is that we've just got recent funding, as I briefly mentioned, to look at some more basic sciences. So we want to measure the peak amino acid content, so really pushing the science world, because like I said to you right at the start, this is a scientifically developed muscle sort of product. In a way, we want to just show those attributes above and beyond just a simple whey protein. We feel that there's additional benefits from adding in a combination of things. So we've got funding for that, just going through ethics, and we'll get 12 patients up, give them normal ice cream, give them then the obviously amino ice cream, and look at peak amino acid concentration. So I think that's going to be really quite exciting. As part of some global work I'm doing, we've got 2 centres, Nottingham and Stoke Hospitals, where we're looking at improving overall nutrition around people with trauma and with hip fractures. And ice cream features as part of it. And we want to move away from supplements. And I think we need to stress at the end of the day, the best way to improve nutritional intake is a balanced food, without doubt. It's not a supplement, it's not protein bars, it's food, balanced food, full stop. If you're struggling with that, then we're moving now towards the new generation, what we're saying, high density food products like ice cream. So it's not a supplement type drink, but it's a high density food. It's ice cream, but it's more dense in protein. And that's the new way people are trying to move towards. And we're just about to start a service improvement project within the organisation, which will allow, in a balanced way of looking at how do you deliver basically a tailored package of care, but improving nutrition, about patient education, educating families, inviting family members in for those who are struggling to eat, to help support them eat. So within that package, we want to see ice cream being used. So it's not just about that, but it's, using it responsibly and sensibly. And then thirdly, as I mentioned, we've just applied for external funding to do a much larger study around sort of 30, 40 hospitals around the country. Fingers crossed the government like it, want to do it, and think it's of value, and that's where we'd like to go. And then just finally, just raising awareness, like yourself, if we can get it in and get other hospitals interested, talking to us, other caterers want to come and be involved. We want to support the farming world, particularly the dairy farmers, because we know milk, there's a lot of pressure for dairy farmers to throw away even milk. The hard push for using milk, and here's a great opportunity for using the milk and the cream for other areas that can provide benefit to patients, and we want to look at doing that and working. Hopefully, the more that people involved, clearly the lower the cost, and that's what it's all about. Providing something nutritionally of value, but at low cost, and will improve outcomes to patients. So yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. That sounds like you've got not going to lie, a lot on, and it sounds like you're going to have a few things to do, but it sounds like you're more than ready for it, and sounds like you're very excited for the new opportunities that are coming your way. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today, Opinder. If people want to find yourself, if they want to find the product, or if they want to find just kind of what you guys are working on in next, where can they find yourself?
Yeah, so easiest ways to contact me through email. So Opinder.Sahota, Opinder.Sahota, Sahota @nuh.nhs.uk. That's the email address of the hospital. Matlock Meadows in Matlock are the supplier of nice cream, and I gather also they have their own little dairy outlets, and they have a little farm area and a pen and a nice little cafe as well. So I know it's got some really popular reviews, really nice sort of day out going up to Matlock. I don't know if you've ever been up to Matlock.
Not myself.
No. Yeah, but definitely worth a trip up. feed animals and have some of the normal ice cream as well. But clearly, we're looking at hopefully they'll then be the be the first line to obviously market the product. For families to buy should they wish to buy them, and just longer term. Yeah. So thank you.
Brilliant. We'll make sure to link that all in the description below, and hopefully some people will check it out. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, Opinder. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.